Okay, we're good. Welcome everybody to a brand new era. It's New Year's Eve. We're live. I got two of my guys with me. It's your boy Caleb Tufts back to hosting and creating these.
Woo!
That's a great feeling. But I got Mike here. Mike, what's going on?
Not too bad. Not too much. Not too much. Happy New Year's Eve, everybody.
That's right. Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. And then I got Colin. Colin,
Happy New
how's it
Year's
going?
Eve, everybody. I'm glad I'm here after I missed last week's show.
Absolutely. Now, guys, I want to tell everybody I did create a new channel. Google being on some weird stuff, so I'll get it figured out. This is gonna go on my channel. I had to sit down with these guys. It's been a week. I've been chopping to talk about somebody with this. Obviously, we're all talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. Everyone's talking about it on the internet. It's already made $1 billion and it hasn't even opened in China yet. So, I
If it
mean,
will.
right? If it does or not, but it's already made $1 billion. That's
Mhm.
insane. So I'm gonna go on. So, guys, I just want your like general thoughts, and then obviously we'll go into spoilers. So I'll start with Mike. Mike, just give me your general thoughts about some things you liked, some things you didn't like. So
I thought it was a really, really excellent movie. Um, I mean, it's hard to like really catch your thoughts around it when you just see it once because
yeah,
you're just like, taking everything in.
yeah,
And I've only seen it the once, unfortunately.
yeah.
But
Same here.
it is a really, really good movie. It's a great way to just kind of conclude the Tom Holland trilogy, kind of as it is, um, while still like being a good movie on its own, and actually helping to kind of explain a lot more of the Tom Holland Spider-Man backstory that we've
Hmm.
never actually gotten before.
Absolutely, absolutely, awesome, awesome. All right, Colton, give me your thoughts on the movie.
Well, I did not know I did not know what to expect going into this film. I mean, all the surprises were, spoiled to the point that this movie was called The Worst Kept Secret in Hollywood. So going in, I wasn't really expecting much, just hopefully a good movie, but I'm not gonna lie, this movie had me crying by the time the credits rolled. Like not like a not a full on waterworks, but tears were shed. It's like I really enjoyed just everything they did with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and I feel like this is an example of how course corrections can feel organic without feeling like they're pandering to audiences. They clearly saw what audiences didn't like with past Spider-Man MCU Spider-Man films, and they corrected them in a way that felt in legitimate service to the story. So I really had a good time with this overall.
Awesome. So for me, guys, I have to say this was obviously I loved it. Obviously, I felt like this might be my favorite end of a trilogy, and that's saying a lot because there's been a lot of great like third movies, but it just elevates so many other movies, so many other characters to just a whole nother stratosphere. And I feel like the Tom Holland trilogy was like again, we've never had like a Spider-Man prequel almost,
Hmm.
but this felt like him was like Spider Boy becoming Spider-Man at the very end. And I absolutely loved it. A lot of emotion. I will get into some of the things that were kind of like, okay, you're kind of stretching the narrative a little bit. You're kind of going a little kooky, but you have to do certain stuff in order to move the plot. And I totally I totally get that. But the emotion and the performances, like Willem Dafoe was so good in this movie. Like I've never been scared of a dude who's probably in his 60s. Like when he was just beating the
66
shit
to be exact.
when he was beating the shit out of Peter with no mask on, which was way more menacing, and he has like the hood on, like that was just literally incredible.
Yeah.
So overall, yeah, I loved it. So now, we're just gonna hop into spoilers. Obviously, gonna be spoiler discussion. It's been out for a week. If you haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home, what are you doing? First of all, you should see it. It's awesome. It's great. You should support it. It's an amazing movie. I so guys, is there anything that you want to start with, or do you just
Yeah,
want to
I
hop
kind of
in?
want to start with one thing, one phrase. He's a very good lawyer.
So I'm the guy. Like I'm gonna be honest. I have not seen all of Daredevil. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if you guys have, but I
I saw
I've
the
haven't.
seen
first,
only three
saw the first two
episodes.
seasons.
Yeah. So I started watching a little bit. I was pretty happy with it. And again, I think Charlie Cox does really good. So, Mike, are you excited for him to be in the MCU?
I am very excited. I mean, I haven't watched the third season, but the first two seasons I really, really enjoyed for the most part, and I thought he did a marvelous job. He was fantastic.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, yeah. Like for me, I haven't really watched it, so I was like, okay, I'm excited. Um, I want to get into something that is like a really important thing of the film, and also I kind of want to get into a little bit of a discussion about if we like how they did this. So, as we know, in the MCU or the Tom Holland universe, guys, there's no Uncle Ben. There's never been an Uncle Ben, or he just wasn't in the picture. I don't know.
Well, I think there was an Uncle Ben because you saw like his initials on his
Initials.
face.
Okay.
And I
But
think Peter's middle name is still Benjamin, even if they hadn't like fully revealed it. So it's
Okay.
kind of up in the air still.
Okay.
yeah, so I think there was an Uncle Ben, but I think
So
he
they
either died
so
way before.
so Marvel and Sony made the creative choice to have all that stuff that he would normally do fall to Aunt May.
Yeah.
How did Aunt May's death impact you guys? And
I cried.
did you like it? So then I will go to, well, you first go. I'll talk about the moment, talk about how you felt. If obviously you liked it, if you cried. So
Yeah, during the moment, when I kept thinking, oh shit, May's gonna die. When I saw the second trailer, I saw just how broken Peter looked at the start. But during the scene where it happened, I was literally holding my breath, thinking, okay, maybe she won't die. But then, when I see the goblin being like, no, you'll thank me for those later, Peter. And they look at me. I'm like, oh shit. And then Peter goes diving to catch the pumpkin bomb. He knocks it out of the way, but it still goes off. But May seems fine. I think, oh, thank God she's okay. And then she says, but with great power, there must also come great responsibility. And I should have realized she's a goner. And as
yeah,
Peter was cradling her and she laid down, I'm like, oh, please don't, no. And the audience I was in, they were literally begging for May not to die. And I was like right there with them. I honestly cried because I did not think this would happen. And it's like, we all know she ain't coming back. Okay,
no.
The MCU has had a few resurrections here or there, but this is
This is the
definitely
Marvel
a
fake
permanent
death universe
death.
code, Yeah.
And I really liked how they just gave May a bit more. I've always liked Marissa Tomei's Aunt May, but I liked how they gave her more agency in this film. Giving Peter the drive to try and save the villains, and then assuring him that even though she's kind of biting it right now because of their choices, she doesn't regret what they've done. And that's it's a good way to. It was a good end, if tragic one, for their dynamic. Because I've always loved how she's been this doting mother to Peter that's always had his back and has always had his happiness and best interest at heart. And I'm really gonna miss her.
So I have to admit, before I send it to you, Mike, I love this moment. I don't know if you guys have played the Spider-Man video game, but when Aunt May died in the video game, I cried more than this. Not that it wasn't a great moment. I love the moment. I was never super invested in her as a character. So like it sucked. I was like, oh man, this sucks. There was a moment later that kind of got to me, but we'll talk about that later. But Mike, your thoughts? You see her get hit by the glider. Are you thinking, yeah, she's done? Is she gonna make it? What are your
I
thoughts?
I was really, because I was just caught up in the moment where I didn't know that they were going to kill her off, and when the glider hit, like I was just back for like, oh, is she dead? Is she? Oh, she's still alive, but great power.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh.
and then
Yeah.
because I miss hot Aunt May.
Yes. Listen, hey, this is facts. This is true. I don't mind. I will say though, the moment. So obviously, well, before we talk about that, we'll just go. The worst kept secret in Hollywood. The Spider-Men are all together. Tobey Maguire's here, and Andrew Garfield's here. Was a little interesting that Andrew Garfield came out first, but that's whatever. But the worst kept secret in Hollywood guy, even though Andrew Garfield, like a week before the movie came out, I'm not in the movie. I'm not in the movie. Andrew, brother, no one's gonna believe you now, but whatever. So I'm gonna go to Mike when they popped out. Mike, your thoughts?
I actually I made a conscious effort to believe Tom Holland and all of them, just in case they did show up, because I wanted to be as surprised as possible, and it worked. And when the portal opened and you see Spider-Man looking at him, I'm like, why isn't he? Oh, oh, are they? And then he came out and pulled. Oh, I'm like, yeah, all right.
It's one of those things. Like I was the same way. Like it was getting later in the film, and I'm like, maybe they aren't gonna show up. Maybe they weren't kidding. And then when they did that, I was like, okay, all right, we're good. Okay. Colton, your thoughts? Toby and Andrew.
I got into so many arguments over the internet about whether or not they were going to show up back like months ago when the rumors were starting, and I got blocked by so many people and whatnot. So as the movie got closer, I thought, okay, they probably are going to be there, but I was in total radio silence to avoid as many spoilers as possible. And as the movie kept going, I actually forgot they were going to be showing up in the film because I was just so caught up by Aunt May dying and everything that I forgot to think that they're going to arrive, and they picked the perfect moment for them to show up. I admit it's still kind of surreal just the fact that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire actually showed up in an MCU film, and I'm gonna have to see it a second time to really develop my thoughts on their arrival. But I do, like I said, I do think it was handled well, and they didn't overstay their welcome. They were there for the right amount of narrative purpose and not just for fan service.
Right.
And I think the reason that Andrew showed up first was so that Toby is still more popular than him, so obviously they didn't want to take the moment away from him. They wanted his fans to have their moment, and then have Toby show up to keep the hype train going. And boy, my audience was so happy to see both of them. You could barely make out a word Andrew was saying.
There was a lot of cheering going on
because the fans were so excited that I could barely hear anything at that point.
Yeah, in my theater they were definitely cheering. So, but
I gotta say, I wasn't the biggest fan of Andrew's movies. I like him, but I didn't really like a lot of the things that did his movies though. But with how they handled him and how they handled his villains in this movie, I actually got a lot more respect for his movies now.
They made the Amazing Spider-Man movies better in this. I mean, maybe not the first one, but definitely the second one, especially with Electro. They made Electro look so much better.
Yeah, well, I still much like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie, but I like the elements of the movie now.
I would love, now again, this is just me. I'm just gonna throw this out randomly, guys. A Marvel Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield. I think that'd be awesome because Marvel's not gonna have some stupid ass Rhino costume for Paul Giamatti running around like. Oh, that was embarrassing. But anyway, whatever.
I did love when they kind of made fun of that.
Bro, what?
I want to fight an alien too.
Oh
my guy in a giant robo tank.
I don't want to hate on the Amazing Spider-Man 2, but Sony, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Speaking of the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I always hated how they just killed Electro and just forgot about him, even though his entire backstory was about how mistreated and forgotten he was. So I loved how No Way Home actually, finished that out gave him a better sense of closure and, didn't kill him off. I actually really liked how Peter actually spoke to him as talked him down and after he was beaten and assured him he's not nobody. And then they had that kind of interesting conversation where Electra says, I kind of thought you'd be black.
I feel like they made all the villains, like if they were top tier, like Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina, who were already probably the best Spider-Man villains ever. They made them even better. And like shitty villains who I thought like Electro, Sandman was kind of whatever, Lizard was whatever, but not every character is going to be, super fleshed out. Like Lizard had no arc, Sandman had no arc, whatever. That's fine. Whatever.
It's still nice to see him.
But Electro, they really, and everyone's like, well, Jamie Foxx is just playing Jamie Foxx. Who cares? He was awesome, dude. He was awesome. I thought Jamie Foxx was great as Electro, and like I said, I would love to see Andrew Garfield in a Marvel. Obviously not because like a Tom Holland, but the way that they had so many characters in this movie and they just made it work.
Hmm.
That to me is like Spider-Man 3. Are you taking notes? Amazing Spider-Man 2. Are y'all taking notes? Like this is what you do. Like this is how you and I want to go on to the next scene because probably my favorite scene in the movie, guys. This is what got me. Like Marvel sometimes, and again, I love the MCU, right? But you guys know sometimes they like to force humor into situations that don't really need a joke or something, right? But when you see Peter there and he's just broken, he is broken. He's just laying there. He just glanced at May. He's like, I just want to give up. I don't even care anymore, dude. I'm just over it. And Ned and MJ just hug him. Don't have to say a word. Don't have to put a joke in there. Don't have to say anything. Just hug him and embrace him. And it just like really hit home. I was like, damn. And it reminded me of when I lost my dad. I didn't need no words. I didn't need nothing. Just love. Like you know what I'm saying? Just love. And that was just a beautiful moment. And then they say, "Hey Peter, there's some friends." And my one of my favorite things that I did to make Andrew stand out, real quick, and then we'll get you guys' thoughts. When they bring up all three deaths, right? And it's Uncle Ben for Toby. He was the original. That was easily the most impactful. But instead of using Uncle Ben for Andrew, they used Gwen Stacy. That was so smart by Marvel to be like, let him stand out. He had his own character, his own death. And then obviously he had Emma. So guys, I want to get your thoughts. I'll start with you, Mike. Your thoughts on that scene, how it started, and how they handled like those kind of like interactions and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hard moment for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and yeah, I mean the way they handled it, starting with that, the friends hugging it out, and then having the
Beautiful.
three Spider-Man, and having that connection between the three. It's like, you guys don't know what I'm going through, and then they just like, hey,
Mm,
guess what? I went through the same thing, and I went through the same thing.
Spider-Man has a lot of death in his life, so
Yeah, and it's like, you can't really be Spider-Man without having some kind of tragedy
Suffering.
to bring your focus in. I mean,
yeah,
hell, it was right out of Into the Spider-Verse.
yeah,
Um, you
definitely.
know, and so I thought it was brilliantly done. And I mean, but in every single actor in the whole scene, they really pulled their A game in this one.
The acting in this movie was top notch.
Yeah.
Like everybody was just on 1,000.
Hell,
And
even John Favreau's Happy Hogan, especially that
yeah,
scene at the end.
the scene where he drives up, Mike, and he sees him, and he doesn't say anything. His facial acting at that point, he just looks and he just knows
Yeah.
some shit's going down. So, but Colin, your thoughts on that scene
It
and
was a
all
very
that, bro?
good one. I liked how I was never a big fan of Gwen dying, but they gave some good meaning to it for Andrew's Peter. And I liked how they revealed later that he's still in a pretty dark place and whatnot, and it kind of makes you wonder what has happened in his universe. And I did like seeing MJ and Ned just give Peter a hug after he lost. After once they found him and everything, it was a very heavy moment. It's like you can't be Spider-Man without some suffering in your life. Unfortunately, that's the name of the game. And the other, Toby and Andrew, they know it, and they were doing their best to help, coach Peter, get Peter through it. And I liked some people have said that there was also a accidental sort of hint of meta-ness to Andrew's line, saying that he got bitter and he doesn't want Tom to end up like him, as reflecting his experience with Sony with how they basically screwed him where the Amazing Spider-Man films were concerned.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I was just glad in that moment that they gave Andrew some difference because they could have easily just kind of shuffled him aside. He's Peter 3, as we see in the movie, and he's he's whatever. He's done these things, but he had his own character moment, his own character development. The fact that talking about Gwen, and he's my favorite Spider-Man. Not Peter Parker. He's my favorite Spider-Man. I think Andrew Garfield is amazing as Spider-Man. Peter Parker, no,
He's amazing as
no fuck.
Spider-Man.
Yes, the Amazing Spider-Man. He's my favorite. He's easily my favorite Spider-Man. Just the way he like carries himself, his quips, his voice. I think he's amazing. So
I
But
also loved how like Toby was actually kind of mentoring him as well. It's like,
mhm.
yeah, I know you're in a dark place right now, but it will get better.
And I just love the banter. They just go back and forth, and I just love the how they talk, you guys, and how they are. And I want to get something that we kind of skipped over a little bit. I do want to get you guys' thoughts real quick on it. Do you like how they did the multiverse stuff? Do you do, is it something that would like bother you in terms of like that's a little contrived, that's a little silly how they did it, or are you guys okay with it?
It
Mike,
was a little contrived
or
that Doctor Strange didn't think to actually tell Peter how the spell worked before he started doing it.
Mhm.
But I can let it go because the rest of the movie was solid enough that it doesn't feel like, well, this is stupid, but I mean, this was lazy. It was lazy, but they worked with it and made it into something engaging.
Absolutely. I would, and real quick, be, before I get your thoughts, Mike, I just want to say, like, yeah, like I agree with you. If I'm sucked into the movie, a little small thing where it's like, okay, I had to suspend my disbelief a little bit, it's not gonna bother me and like take me out of the movie. But if your movie sucks and you have like a plot like that, then I'm gonna be all over it because then that's all I'm gonna talk about because because your movie sucks, like I just don't care. But because the rest of the movie around it is so good, makes up for it. So, Mike, give me your thoughts on that, bud.
Um, I liked how they handled the multiverse. I didn't mind Doctor Strange not telling him too much about the spell beforehand because I thought it kind of fit with how they've established Doctor Strange's character. I
Mm,
mean, he's reformed from being that asshole surgeon, but he still was an asshole surgeon. So there's going to be the element of like, don't worry about it, I
right,
can do this. Um,
right.
and there's also a reason he's not Sorcerer Supreme anymore.
I mean, he was gone for 5 years. You know, you
Yeah,
can't,
right.
on like a loophole. But I do want to real quick before we run out of time. Even though we still got plenty of time, I want to talk about this last scene, guys, because it gets me excited for the future. The post-credit scene. Now, again, I don't care how Eddie Brock got in this universe. Everyone says, "Well, how would he know?" I don't care. Whatever, bro. When he leaves behind that symbiote, what I'm hoping and praying, guys, is my thoughts, and then I want to get you guys' thoughts on this because everyone's been saying, oh, I want to see Tom Hardy and I want to see Tom Holland together. I don't want to see that right away because my favorite Spider-Man villain is Venom, evil Venom, not anti-hero Venom, which is cool. I want full-on asshole, not Topher Grace, Venom. Okay, like a bulky guy. I'm sorry, like cast someone who's like a bodybuilder who can act a little bit, like just somebody that is like a little bulky. Come on, I mean, like Topher Grace. Are we kidding with that? So
So what you're saying is you want John Cena.
hey, I'll take John Cena, bro, over Topher Grace. He would actually look the part. So what I want in the next movie, guys, because I also want to get you guys' thoughts is, do we think he's gonna stay in the MCU or is he going to Sony? Because this ending, he could go either way. Because I'm not sure how Marvel and Sony are on like a deal. I think Sony would be stupid to walk away from Marvel at this point because they made
Mm-hmm.
a boatload of money. So I'm just assuming that they're gonna re-up with Marvel because Marvel does all the work and Sony reaps all the benefits. So I don't see why Sony be like, yeah, let's just walk away and possibly lose out on billions of dollars. And yeah, let's do that. That's a good idea. No, that's just dumb. But anyway, I want to see Evil Venom in the next movie, and don't have Sandman in there. Have a whole movie with just Venom, or you could have the black suit Spider-Man and have him face off against Rhino or something, and then bring Venom in the next movie. So, guys, your thoughts on where you think we're going to go and where you want to go in terms of that the post-credit scene. Whoever wants to hop in first, go for it.
Okay. Well, first off, I think the reason, quickly, I think the reason Tom Hardy Venom was there is because they mentioned the symbiote has like a hive mind, so it's possible
Yeah,
that there is a symbiote out there that knows. There's a symbiote out there that knows that Peter is Spider-Man, and
right.
so that was
Hope for
technically a
Grace.
loophole.
Yeah,
Anyway, though, I'm not sure where we're gonna go with this. I feel like, if Peter is still feeling the rage from Aunt May's death, then the symbiote might, whenever it finds him, it could really, bring up those old wounds and really test him again from a mental standpoint. And depending on who he fights next in that story in that future. But for right now, I'm just waiting to see when it will arrive. Who knows? It could be years or just a installment away from us.
Right. So Chris said, so if he hops in, then we'll just get his thoughts because we've already been live for 25 minutes, but whatever. All right, Mike, your thoughts on the post-credit scene, where you want to go, where you think they're going to go?
Well, I kind of like Colton's thought, where like yeah, Peter just got over this, but he just lost his aunt, and nobody in the world knows who he is. So there's got to be a lot of rage in there, and if he does, get the symbiote on him, right now there's not really anybody he can turn to help him out with it.
That would be a
So
great arc.
that'd be an interesting way of maybe trying to reconnect him to maybe Ned or MJ or maybe somebody else. Maybe Fantastic Four.
Hey, John Watts is directing Fantastic Four, and I'm super excited for that, by the way. So my thoughts is like this now that he's had his big death, because like Tobey Maguire like didn't become Spider-Man until after Uncle Ben died. Andrew Garfield, yeah, like his was also Uncle Ben, but Spider-Man has always had a major death, which propels him into, but now like Tom Holland is Spider-Man. He's out of school, he's gonna be in college. Wouldn't it be cool, guys? He gets the black suit, right? He goes to college, right? He's in MIT, whatever it is. His professor is Kirk Connors of the MCU, right?
Right.
My favorite thing I'm excited about now, guys, is can we bring in Osborn? Can we bring in Scorpion, Rhino?
They did kind of bring in Scorpion
for a
That's
teaser,
true.
which still hasn't paid off
That's
yet.
true. That is true. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
At the end of Homecoming, but I'm just saying, like, Spider-Man has so many great villains. I'd love to see Marvel do them. I'm sorry, Sony, you suck at doing villains. You're awful at doing villains.
Yeah.
Like a Green Goblin the look was horrible, both times, but the actors that you got to play them were great. But I would love to see a Marvel like a design Green Goblin, or we could even get Hobgoblin if they want to go that route with Ned. I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm super excited. There's so many possibilities, but yeah.
I've heard that Sony might be like trying to like get rid of some of like their movie. It just made them $1 billion. They haven't really had a whole lot of movies that make them any kind of money as of recently. So, they had Ghostbusters, and now they've got Spider-Man.
I'm pretty sure, Mike. Now again, I don't sign the contract. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Sony gets like what 80% of the profits from the movie. 85. Like it's a stupid high number. Marvel gets to, and Sony gets to also distribute the movie.
Yeah.
So Sony gets to distribute rights, obviously, because they own the rights, and they get 80% of the profit. Marvel gets to have the toys. Marvel gets to have all the all of that stuff, obviously. But I'm just saying, like, Sony's got a sweet deal, bro. They only got to cut Marvel a check for what 100. I'm not sure what it is. They make so much money from this. They would be stupid to walk away. And I'm sorry, Marvel does so good with these characters. Like, I would love to see a Green Goblin Marvel or a Green Goblin Rhino or anything like that. I would love to see it. Have they had misses? Of course. But like, I've liked all 3 Spider-Man movies. All 3 of the villains were great. So I would be super excited. But again, I would be shocked if they said that they were walking away.
Like trying to get rid of their entire movie division. I think they're just trying to get out.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I think they're just gonna stick with like PlayStation and stuff like that because they're not really making a whole lot of money.
Could you see Sony selling their movie rights to Disney?
I
Maybe.
could. It's possible.
If Marvel, if Disney got Spider-Man back, like I don't think DC would stand a chance. Even though DC's got Batman and stuff, I don't think they'd stand a chance. If they had free reign of Spider-Man, bruh, there's just no way. But anyway, let's get back on topic, guys. I wanted to get into a few other things about some certain characters, about if you feel like they were elevated, if you feel like they were doing if they were better. And I want to get into some guys like Willem Dafoe, like an Alfred Molina. Do we feel like these guys were better than in their movies? Were they the same or were they worse in you guys' opinion?
I think they were on the. I don't think they subtracted anything from either character. They were. I think a bit more could have been done, but they adapted to the story that they were needed for. Though I did wish we got a bit more from Doc Ock. Like after he was defeated, he kind of was a bit in the background. But when they cure him, though, that was a from the arms. That was a very well done scene, and I liked how he gets to go back and be hopefully get to redeem himself further in his own universe, whatever happens next.
Hey, Chris.
Christopher, welcome, sir. Sorry, but I didn't see you. I'm not used to being the guy that adds people in. That's my fault. Real quick, so Christopher, we pretty much gone over our thoughts, a lot of the spoilers. Got about like 10 more minutes. Give me your thoughts on Spider-Man: No Way Home.
I absolutely was not floored by this movie. It's just like everything like that. I mean, the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies are definitely entertaining in their own right. Definitely, it has that pizzazz. Still has that energy, that snappiness. It really goes. It's no less exciting than the previous entries. I like how it expands the franchise's scope. I like the humor, the heart of it. This is and it doesn't really pull its punches. I like that. It's kind of like a love letter to Spider-Man movies, almost 22 decades. And I like how they bring back certain villains, incarnations of certain villains, and Toby and Andrew. Oh my god! Even in the theater, I was like, it's like electricity just shook from my fingers, man. It's just and then I was just like, my jaw dropped to the floor, man. It's just I like how it's touching and exciting. It's just I still have to find out how it ranks in terms of Spider-Man movies. I think it's better than the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, even better than Homecoming. But still, I don't know about extending Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. I still have to watch it, but it definitely fits the bill of what we call the movie. Fits the bill of what we call the character. It's amazing.
It's top 3. I would think it's in competition with Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 2. I think it blows every other movie out the way. I think those 3 movies are if you had any one of those 3 in your top spot, then I wouldn't blame you. I just rewatched the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and Spider-Man. I didn't hate Spider-Man 3 as much as I used to, so that was good. Christopher, any spoilers that you want to get into? We talked about the post-credit scene. We talked about Aunt May's death. We talked about, obviously, Toby and Andrew are in the movie. Shocker. Who would have thought? So
Shocker's in there too, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
Shocker wasn't in there.
We haven't talked about the ending yet. If you want to talk about that, Chris.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. It's like Aunt May's death. It's like, I think we kind of expected that she would be a mainstay for the series, but Aunt May is of course an important part of Spider-Man and Wolverine. It's just I kind of was shocked by her death. I didn't want Aunt May to die. It's just even that it's just that moment rocked me. It's just slowly slipping away, man. And Tom Holland was to make act the hell out of that scene, especially Tom Holland. It's just you feel that sense of helplessness. This is it really is an emotional gut punch. Oh man, yeah, I was not down by that. It's that had real punch though, especially definitely. As I said, I liked when Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield appealed. It's just I like that little moment, the little banter about talk about the individual powers. It's just like the organic spider. It just shoots out your hands. I like that stuff. I had to make my own organic. I had to make my own web series. It was I just like the interaction, the vibe between that. I was so geeky on so many levels, so awkward, so geeky, but you can't help but love and stuff like that. It's just like I got a real kick out of moments like that.
Okay, nice. Okay. Um, any thoughts, Chris, on the post credit scene with Venom leaving behind the symbiote
I don't
or
want to.
a part of the symbiote?
I don't want to expect anything. I mean, it's like maybe it could possibly lead. I mean, it could go somewhere with that. It could not go somewhere with that. I mean, maybe it could lead to however, in the path of Eugene Thompson.
Maybe. I hate Flash Thompson in the MCU though. That dude's so annoying. What I think, and this just occurred to me, guys, real quick before we go. I think that 2023 is going to be the year of Venom. Why do I say that? Yo, good. I think we're going to get a Venom 3. I think we're going to get Spider-Man 4 with Venom as the main villain, and the Spider-Man 2 video game by Insomniac for PS5. Venom is the main villain. So it's going to be the year of Venom. Mark it down. You guys heard it here first. I think they're going to go. They're going to go all in on that. Guys, real quick, I want to go around the table before we wrap it up, and I want to get a score from each of you. Hi, Elijah. And I want to get a score from each of you guys before we go. He's not here. Thanks, though. Bye. First ball. What? So I'm gonna start with Mike. Give me a score, 1 out of 10, sir.
I'm probably gonna go 8.5.
Okay.
8.5.
We're respectable. Okay. All right. McCullen.
I give it an 8. There's a lot of moving parts in this movie, and not all of them are well oiled. But when they are well oiled, they are damn good.
All right. Christopher.
I'm probably going to go with an 8.5. Yeah, it did have its awkward moments. Just like there was the beginning kind of took its time. It had to get where it's going, but when Doc Ock shows up, it moves like it moves in a flash, and it's just like you're simply hooked. It's like fan service, everything like that, and Easter eggs, all that stuff. And just, besides all that, that's just icing on the cake. But yeah, the casting, directing, as good as ever.
All right, for me, 9 out of 10. I had to rewatch it. I had to rewatch Spider-Verse. But
it's so damn good.
It's so good, dude. It's so good. I had to rewatch that. But as of right now, 9 out of 10. But that's going to get me into real quick. I'm going to give us a preview. Whenever I can wrangle these guys up, at least 3 of us or 4 of us, we are going to be doing our next episode. Our first official new episode will be ranking all the Spider-Man films. 9. We're not going to include Venom. I haven't seen them. Some of these guys haven't seen them. It's not Spider-Man. I'm sorry. I love Venom. It's not Spider-Man. So all 9, because we are going to include Spider-Verse, because Spider-Verse is fucking awesome. So all 9 Spider-Man films, guys. So look out for that. That's going to be hard as hell to do. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do that, even though I just rewatched a bunch of the movies. But I think we're going to
already.
Yeah. I know my top 3, Mike. Just like everyone else probably here knows their top 3. Just what order they go in. I'm not sure. So that's gonna do it, guys. I want to give a quick thanks to my guys. So Mike, sir, thanks for coming out.
Always good to be here, and I'm a very good lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. Colton, thanks for taking time out, bud, to join us.
That's it.
Yeah, Spider-Man is my favorite hero, so I'm glad I was here for this.
Awesome. He is my second favorite hero, too. And Christopher, even though you came in late, but it's always good to see your face. I haven't seen you in so long. It's good to see that you are doing well, sir.
Yeah. Want to get back on track with you guys. Love doing the show with you guys.
Absolutely. Now that I have a computer and I'm able to do these, we will get back on them. Yeah, but I want to wish everyone a happy New Year, and I'll see you guys in 2022. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.